lost their lives trying to reveal the secret. The secret has been hidden from the world for far too long. But now,
in order to become successful, a lot of times you have to find your zone that's comfortable for you.
When you come to that crossroad and you get to a certain age where you have that epiphany where what the hell am I going to do with the rest of my life, and you don't even have a plan yet, that's when it's time to start writing your shit down.
Sometimes, life decisions and life choices steer you another path, but, mistakes are given, being a human. We don't have to be perfect.
One day the world's going to have to come around and recognize that, yeah, this is different, but there's nothing like this out here.
You have to let your imagination run wild when it comes to your career, period.
Most people only plan for what they think they can get. The universe doesn't like that. The universe wants you to go for what you think is impossible.
Dr. King said your character is built not during times of comfort and convenience, but during times of conflict and controversy.
When you see an obstacle, don't let it deter you. You either can go over it, around it, or through it, depending on your own strength.
I've been through a lot of stuff in life, but never once have I felt like this is the end of my path.
You have to put up your own money. That's independence. If someone else is putting up the money, that's dependence.
If you don't see yourself coming out as a boss at that place, get the fuck out of there.
they can no longer keep it from us.
My question is, how did you feel about the millions more march, and what do you think about, the downplay from the media? What do you feel about that?
When it comes to the million more march, or I just call it the Million Man March.
Right, Million
just
Man March.
part.
That's
3.
what we're used to, right?
I can say this. I live not too far from Minister Farrakhan, and I love the man. I have a lot of respect for him. Tremendous respect for the Nation of Islam, and that's despite any flaws that people can point out. I mean, let's just be real. People they chatter about what happened with Malcolm X.
Right.
They chatter about some things that they may not like about the nation. But I just tell people, look, sometimes loving a person or loving a thing is about loving them, warts and all. If you know anybody or any person in the organization for as long as we've known the Nation of Islam and Minister Farrakhan, as long as they've been there for us,
right,
you're going to see things that are not always perfect and rosy. When I think about people I love the most, my mother, my father, my siblings, we've had so many situations where, I've even looked at my own siblings and said, man, I don't like you right now,
right.
But at the end of the day, you know who's there for you and who's not. And one thing I can say is that, in my opinion, Farrakhan has been there for us, in ways that nobody else has been there. The nation has been there for black men, especially,
right,
in ways that nobody else, no institution anywhere has ever been there for black men. None. There's no place a black man coming out of prison can go that will elevate his spirit, elevate his mind, clean him up, have him, speaking with proper grammar, holding doors open for women, learning to start his own business, taking care of his family. There ain't no place like that in America for the black man.
Right.
So, to be frank with you, anybody who comes to me and says, oh, the Nation of Islam is no good or Farrakhan's no good, let's just get rid of them, I literally want to say F you. Get the hell out of my face with that.
I agree.
You can be critical all you want. You can even point out things that are true, but I'm never gonna let you throw out the baby with the bathwater. So I was really excited about Farrakhan holding this march. I was there in DC for the event. It's inspirational. Obviously we want to supplement what the nation has been doing.
Right.
They can't do it all by themselves. And that's what people have to understand is that we are all the nation. We are all the nation of Black America.
Right.
So that means that after you see what Farrakhan did and what his piece was, If you see a flaw or if you see something you want to criticize, fine. What are you going to do now? What role are you going to play to help fill in the void? It's almost like to me. I almost think of it. Sometimes we forget that the empowerment of a community is a team sport. So we'll get in the habit of watching the star players play and then criticizing what they did or didn't do. So we'll look at somebody who's a wide receiver and say, yeah, he's a good receiver, but he can't block, he can't tackle.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's because he can't play every
Right.
position.
Right.
And we forget that. We have these people that we look at as superstars and we just think they're supposed to play every position and play it perfectly. It doesn't work that way. We all have a role to play. There are 40 million of us in this country, so that means there's 40 million positions that need to be played on this team, and we all have to know our role.
Definitely. That's a great answer. I totally agree with you. I feel like the Nation of Islam is the only group that for black men and women that still exists to this day, that has done tremendous work. Elijah Muhammad and Clara Muhammad have they did a wonderful job of adding the structure to the business, and I'm sure that Clara Muhammad had a lot to do with that. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure she had a lot to do with that. I don't really know too much of that history, but I know that when he was incarcerated, she held it down for many years until he got out. So, definitely. Here we go again. The power of a female in business with you, right?
Well, that just really goes back to the amazing strength of black women when they're at their best. Same thing with men. When black men are at our best, we can't be stopped. When black women are at their best, they can't be stopped. And I think that what has occurred in America is that there has been a systemic and strategic effort to keep us from being at our best, to make us mentally ill, to make us weak, to make us distracted. And so that's where you see some of the chaos that you might see, some of the dysfunction you might see. It's very, very real.
Right.
But you can't convince me in a million years that there's anything greater than a black woman when she's really on her game. But the funny thing is that, some people think that we're supposed to act like every black woman is always on her game all the time, and it's just not true. You got some real ratchetry out here in the world. Some of it embedded.
Real hoochieism and jumping off out here in these streets, man. Real ratchetism.
What you really seeing, in my opinion, man, is you're seeing just lost souls, people that have never been connected with their true purpose.
Right.
And unfortunately, we have folks that have profited from our oppression to the point where they have a direct interest in keeping us off balance.
Right.
Because once we get on balance again, it's over. It's maybe it's a little bit like a fight. If you're fighting somebody that's bigger than you, that could destroy you. What do? If you hit them once and you get them off balance, you keep punching them.
Right.
You keep them, and that's what I think America has kind of done with us. Just really kept us off balance. And I think once we get our feet underneath us, which I believe that we are, I really believe that this generation has some things that we've never had before in this country as a community. And I think it may take 100 years or 200 years.
Right.
But as we get our feet underneath us, you're really going to see the rise of a black nation throughout the world. We will be the kings and queens of maybe the 22nd century.
I agree.
Maybe not this one, but the next one.
Yeah, that's a conversation I had yesterday with Carolyn. I was talking about might be one of the smartest time in human history, where so much information and knowledge is so accessible to all of us. The phones we walk around with every day, these phones and all this stuff. This is an incredible library of information that is a device that should be used for research and not just for social media and for looking up booty videos or something like that. We really should be studying, using these phones and these apparatuses as study guides, and to help us. Any question you have, you can put it in Google nowadays and you can find out, and then take it a step further and go, you still can go to your library and still do your own research by asking questions. But, it's one of the smartest times of our lives. And it's a wonderful time to be alive now, and I'm just looking at the kids. Imagine how smart they will be, with all this information, if we tell them and keep them away from so much social media. This social media stuff is crazy. It's like, it's a distraction. It's too many distractions now.
Well, I agree with you 100%. I think that ignorance really is a choice now. You can't go through life and say, I don't have an education because I never got an opportunity to get one. If you had the opportunity to get a cell phone with a $10 a month plan, you've had an opportunity to get an education. The question is whether or not you've chosen to take advantage of that opportunity. Because as you mentioned, the greatest university in the history of the world is right there on your phone. Google.com, YouTube University, even Wikipedia. People talk about Wikipedia being inaccurate. Well, the majority of what's on Wikipedia,
most information
is
inaccurate.
Exactly. It's not. I mean, I think honestly, this whole idea of Wikipedia just being so grossly, horrifically inaccurate, I think that was something that was pushed forward by college professors because a lot of universities, Wikipedia is kind of undermining their game. It's keeping them from balling. They're like, wait a minute, we're able to get you to go 100,000 in debt to come learn from us, and now we've got all these other sources that are competing with us. So let's just disparage those other sources and act like they're not helpful, they're not relevant. But that's not true. Just like I have a PhD, I taught at universities for a very long time, and people like me are available on the internet. And I don't think. I mean, I know it. Not only do I teach online as well as good and as well as I taught when I was in the classroom, but I actually teach better online because you're getting 24/7 access to me. You also have an authenticity that I cannot always express in the midst of academic bureaucracy.
Right.
In a classroom, I can talk about this. Stuff here, everything's on the syllabus.
Textbook, yeah.
But but when you get to connect with me online, and I got 1,200 YouTube videos, you get to know me 360. And every idea I have, I try to share it with people. Yeah. And it's beautiful, man. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful.
It's a lot of because for you, a lot of your experiences may conflict and contradict the textbook. So, that authenticity really comes out when you're speaking one-on-one with these people. Because Carolyn said she loved the Black Boot Camp. She loved it. She business boot camp.
All right.
She loved it. Yeah, she said it was wonderful. And she would always come, after she would do a class, she would come back and tell us what she said and what she learned. She learned a whole lot. Yeah, and I was like, okay, this is great. This is great. And Dame told me you guys are doing a workshop coming up as well.
Yeah, it's called Intelligent Boss Moves. And it's IBM. Okay. And I chose that term deliberately because Damon and I guess fate brought us together because of that whole Breakfast Club thing. Right. Well, after he did his interview, I got an email from Charlemagne, kind of telling me what happened, and I watched the video, and in fact, before that, I'd actually seen the video before I talked to Charlemagne, and I actually commented on it. I said, I like what this guy's doing. I like the fact that he's really you talk about that authenticity piece. Right. The thing that I've always known about Damon Dash is that he's 100% real. Oh, even if it comes out ugly or if it comes out in a way that you don't understand.
Yeah, he's totally unfiltered. Yeah, he's unfiltered.
Yeah, and he's a strong man. And that's what I liked for two reasons. One, my father is very similar. My father is a very strong man. And so he would say things that were very raw. But the thing is, the world is raw. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's not politically correct. Right. It's not. Right. It's not. Love and peace in Afro Greece. It's not. A place where everybody cares about you all the time. Mm-hmm. It's a place where if you don't have your game together, somebody will come and hit you upside the head and take your shit. That's the world we live in. And so, black people, I feel, need that authenticity because integration and white supremacy has led us to a place where we feel comfortable going to sleep. We truly believe that those who are positioned as our actual enemies are actually our friends. But everything they do shows that they don't care about our well-being. And what's even worse is that we don't care about our well-being. Yeah. So what I liked about Dame's interview on the Breakfast Club is he was basically getting in the face of black men and saying, if you can't control something of your own, if you can't be a boss, then what kind of man are you? Right. Your boss at work, that's the man of your house, not you. And people, I think, didn't like that because it's such a shock to the system. Right. It's what psychologists call a schemata shift. Yes. Schemata, right. You're probably familiar with that. Familiar with that. Yeah, well, you're used to seeing things one way, and somebody comes at you with a reality that's so different from what you've accepted that you reject it because it's so shocking, not because it's not true. Maybe later on you come to terms with it, but initially you're like, no, what? Hold on.
And it stays with you longer. If you notice, it stays with you longer when you get that shock. We've all been there. When you get a shock, things stay with you longer.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
actually start analyzing things a little different when you get shots. Yeah.
Yes, man,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so, so Charlamagne asked me to come on to kind of talk about what Dame said, and I think that some people might have expected that I was going to just debunk everything he said, and I said no. I deliberately made it my objective to not undermine anything that he said, but just to maybe supplement it or reframe it or position it in a way that is digestible to everybody.
Right.
And so as a result of that. That's how we became friends.
Definitely.
And so it is. And the funny thing too is we even look a little bit alike.
Definitely.
Just about
But
the same age.
I connected you guys together. I got in contact with the Muslim brother that contacted you.
Oh, so that was you?
Yeah,
okay, I
yeah.
They emailed me. Yeah,
I told Maria that because Dame was like, I like the guy that came up after me because we listened to the interview together. And I was like, he was like, you know Dr. Boyce? I was like, I know someone that knows Dr. Boyce, and that's when I hit what's his name, man? And he's gonna kill me for forgetting his name just this fast. But it's early out here, brother. It's early. The Muslim brother, out of Atlanta, and he told me that he know that he can get in contact with you. So I hit him up, and he made it happen.
Well, I tell you, man, I'm glad you did that, man, because even before that. I guess because Damon and I look alike, they literally would take, like, there would be something that I said, and they would say, Damon Dash said this.
Right.
Or people would say, you need to talk to him. Like, why don't you know this guy? He even looks like you. He says the same stuff you said. Yeah. So, we decided to create Intelligent Boss Moves, which the URL is intelligentbossmoves.com. And we created this platform as a way to kind of bring together two business school professors who have different perspectives on the same stuff.
Wow.
And I say we're both professors because, I got my PhD in the university. He got his in life,
right.
And so he's accomplished these things that very few people on earth have accomplished. He's incredibly brilliant.
Right.
And I just thought it was fun. I think it's fun to kind of, play off each other's abilities. And to help people, kind of understand the realities of trying to scale up what you're doing.
Right.
For example, one thing is that a lot of people don't understand that in order to achieve a certain level of success or wealth or anything like that, the size of your thinking has to match the size of your objectives. A lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of us really think small. We'll think, okay, how am I going to get an extra $1,000 next month, or you know what I mean?
Right.
How am I going to get a paycheck of a certain size?
Right.
Whereas I find that mogul type people or business owners, they're thinking about scalability. They're thinking, how can I make $100,000 in 3 days? Things like that. Or, and they're not thinking how many hours can I work to do that. They're thinking, what kind of machine, what kind of system can I build that I can scale up, that can earn me that kind of income in a very short period of time.
I agree.
So it's been a lot of fun, teaching this class with them.
Right.
So we'll see how it goes.
Right, and we have the Culture Vultures book coming up as well. That's a book. It's 40 chapters that I completed. I've interviewed.
Chapters?
I followed Dame for about 10 years. I met him about 13, 14 years ago, but I followed him around about 10 years ago, and I started taking soundbite interviews from him to compile this book. So it's
40 chapters?
Oh, it's a business memoir. Wait till you read that.